Hi guys, welcome to the series on building the AI clinic router project. In previous video, we went through the overall architecture of the project, and then we took a deeper dive into the entity package, where we covered the doctor and the department entity, along with many important JPA and Hibernate concepts. In this video, we're going to continue setting the project. First, I will show you my application properties file so you can configure your project the same way I did. We'll also talk about where to store sensitive information like API keys and database credentials. Instead of hard coding them inside the project, we will use environment variables. Okay, now let's take a look at the application properties file real quickly. This is where I configured the application. This is the file as the central place where Spring Boot gets the information it needs to start the application and connect to external services. So at the very top, I define the application name. The next 3 lines is where the section contains database configuration. These properties tell Spring Boot how to connect to PostgreSQL database, which is hosted on Supabase URL. The URL points to database server. The username and password are not written directly into the file. Instead, they are going to be looked from environment variables, which I'll show you later on where I put them. I prefer doing it this way because it keeps sensitive information out of my source code. This string right here is to specify a database driver. Since I'm using PostgreSQL, Spring Boot needs the PostgreSQL JDBC driver to communicate with the database. These properties here tell Hibernate how to work with the database. This part means Hibernate should not automatically create or modify database table. Instead, I am creating the table myself inside Supabase using SQL scripts you will see later. This line right here is for me to see SQL statements in my console while I develop my application. This is very helpful because I can see exactly what Hibernate is sending to database. Next, you will see several Hikari configuration properties. So instead of opening a brand new database connection every time, the application needs one Hikari keeps a small pool of reusable connections. This makes the application much faster and more efficient. Since this is here a small demo project, I keep the connection pool relatively small. These lines are for connecting to DeepSeek. This tells Spring AI which AI provider I'm using, so I'm using DeepSeek. So here I specify my API key, the model I want to use, and the temperature, which I set to 0.1. Since the application is making routing decisions rather than generating creative text, I use a low temperature. So the responses stay as consistent as possible. So that's the overall purpose of this application properties file. It centralizes the application's configuration and tells Spring Boot how to connect to database, how to communicate with the AI model, and how various parts of framework should behave. So now the environment variables like this, which you get from your DeepSeek, this here, which you get from your Supabase, I will show you, except for password. When you create your project, you will be asked for some password, and you need to make sure you remember that password. If you are not sure what the password is, or if you don't remember, then create one project again, and this time make sure you do. So let's configure environment variables. Go to run, edit what is this? Edit configurations. You will see your application name, environment variables. Click here. So this here are you have environment variables. All you need to do is click on this plus sign. You will have key and value. Never mind this because it's going to be deleted anyway before I put it on YouTube. So I have DeepSeek API key, and I have the value, which is the key generated in DeepSeek. Supabase password, Supabase username. These names are exactly as they are shown right here. $, open brackets, then the name, and closing curly brackets. So if the names don't match exactly, Spring Boot will not be able to resolve those values, and the application will not start correctly. Now, let's head to our Supabase for a brief moment. The first thing we will do is to create the database tables. Open your SQL editor. Paste the SQL script that creates the tables. I have this one. You can do a screenshot, ask ChatGPT to do something similar for you, or you can write it out yourself. So I'm creating departments and I'm creating doctors table. After pasting the script, click on Run. Supabase executes the SQL and creates both tables for you. You can verify that everything works correctly. You can go to Table Editor, and so you will see department table and doctors table. In my situation, I have data, but you will not. Go back to SQL editor and now populate the tables. This you can have exactly like I do. This script inserts departments. These are the same department names that we use throughout the project, including the enum we'll create later in the project. So again, run the script. Then you can execute this script to insert doctors into your doctors table. So here, instead of manually typing the department ID, I'm using a subquery. This pretty much asks PostgreSQL, find the department whose name is cardiology, then use its ID. This is safer than hard coding numbers because it doesn't matter whether cardiology has ID 2, 5, or 17. The database finds the correct ID automatically. So if we go to table editor, the departments has 6 records. Doctors table contains 6 doctors as well. Notice the department ID column. This is here a foreign key. This foreign key connects one table to another. In this case, department ID connects to this primary key in departments table. This is exactly what our JPA relationship represents, like when we have at many to one, at join column, name department ID. So the database relationship and Java entity relationship mirror each other. Now let's connect Spring Boot to Supabase. The connection is established through data source pipes properties we configured earlier. Spring Boot reads the database URL, username, password from application properties file. So to connect, go to here, connect, go to connecting direct connection string, and we'll choose this one. We will use the connection string. This part right here is going to be your username. So you will have your password, you will have your username. All you need to do is copy this one. In my, I showed you how I have it all this. Just make sure your string is exactly like I have. That's the username and the password, which we have. So your username, Postgres, and then that part, which is UU and then JQ. UU, JQ. And your password again is what you have created at the very beginning of creating your project in Supabase. That's pretty much all. From this point on, our repositories can retrieve departments and doctors directly from Supabase without us writing any JDBC code ourselves. So now we are ready to start building the repository layer.